Kyle Larson dominates at Atlanta Motor Speedway, but because of tire fall off in Joey Logano, Kyle Larson ends up losing the race to Ryan Blaney and gets passed late in the day, and Ryan Blaney steals a win here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. We're going to go ahead and talk about the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500 from Atlanta Motor Speedway. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. Coming into the race today, there would be one major driver that would have an issue for the green flag. Chase Elliott would fail inspection twice, and he would have to go to the rear of the field for this race. There wasn't, in my opinion, for this race, I didn't think that there was a lot that happened. There were a few incidents that really took place over the entire race that would really happen, but not too much happened. The guy would dominate the race for the most part and then get beat at the end of the day. So let's go ahead and go through this race. So starting on the pole, you had Denny Hamlin, and then he would actually dominate the early portions of this race, and then the competition caution would come out, and Kyle Larson would end up winning the race on pit road, and he would end up taking the race lead from Denny Hamlin and dominating the next portion of this race. And like I said, he would dominate for quite some time up to this point. And then he would actually hold on and actually pull away from the field during the green flag pit stops, and he would go out there and win stage one at Atlanta Motor Speedway in dominating fashion. Went back racing on lap 107, actually 114 in this race, 13 in this race. And on the ensuing restart at the start of stage 2, Kyle Busch would check up coming down the front stretch. It would back up a bunch of guys like Chase Elliott. And Denny Hamlin will get into the back of Kurt Busch. Denny Hamlin will get quite a bit of damage. And also Kurt Busch would be done for the day. And Kurt Busch was having a top 2 or top 3 day most of the day, running up front, my underdog pick for this race. But unfortunately, he really struggled for the most part today. So because of that crash, and he actually unfortunately would fall out of the race, which is really unfortunate. And then we kept going green for quite some time in this race, and then we would basically finish the end of stage 2 basically the same way we started stage 1, with Kyle Larson dominating once again and winning and holding off Ryan Blaney, Alex Bowman, and Kyle Busch to go out there, but not holding them off, one by like 8 or 9 seconds. But then he tried to play a little bit of cat and mouse game with Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott was Kyle Larson's teammate, of course. So Kyle Larson was paying team orders and was probably told not to pass Chase Elliott. He didn't pass Chase Elliott, but he was able to win stage 2, so that was an issue to note. Then we would go right back racing on lap 218 in the event, and then the final actual caution of this race would come out for Chase Elliott. He had some damage because of the stack, if I'm not mistaken. The damage basically affected him. He ended up blowing up with around 105 laps to go in this race, and that would take Chase Elliott out of the event. The only other major issue that really took place in this race. We get back to the final run of this race, and on the pit stops that happened right before that, Ryan Blaney actually would make the pass on Kyle Larson on pit road. And it would take quite a bit of time for Kyle Larson would get back around Ryan Blaney in this race. But around 237, around 78 laps, well, around 87 laps to go in this race, Kyle Larson would make the pass on Ryan Blaney, and he would go on to pull away. And then the final green flag pit stop started happening. One thing I started noticing, especially when we got later in this run, Kyle Larson's tires were starting to fall off really bad, and Ryan Blaney was starting to make a really good run. He was actually really catching Kyle Larson in a really big way. And that was the big key thing at the end of this race was, is this race going to go to the end of the race, or is there going to be a caution late in this event? And would that be a major factor in this race? On the final green flag pit stops, Kyle Larson actually had a much better pit stop and would be able to pull away from Ryan Blaney up at that point. And then also on the green flag pit stops, Anthony Alfredo would actually, looks like he got a little bit of sideways, almost pulled the 1990 Atlanta Journal 500 when one of Bill Elliott's pickers unfortunately died. Thank God for pit road safety and pit road speed limits, because that was the case, probably that pit crew members would have died. But then he made more mistakes on there, and unfortunately cost Eric Almirola, who really wasn't having a great run to begin with, that unfortunately cost him a really good run. And then, like I said, Kyle Larson looked like he was going to have this race in the bag. And then with around 25 or 20 laps to go in this race, I started noticing that Ryan Blaney was making up a lot of ground. And the lap traffic was definitely helping Ryan Blaney gain some ground. But also as the run continued to go on, Kyle Larson started falling off at the end of the race. And then he got to Joey Logano, and Joey Logano chopped his nose down one time, and that would affect Kyle Larson. And then Larson also said in his post-race interview that he'd be starting to fall off, and I could really see that. Ryan Blaney would actually very surprisingly catch Kyle Larson at the end of this race and got up to his back bumper, and actually, with around 9 laps to go in this race, he actually would make the pass for the win and make it. Now, it looked like Larson may have had a shot to get past Ryan Blaney for the win once again, but Kyle Larson had nothing for Ryan Blaney at the end of this race. And coming off the final corner, Ryan Blaney would pull up the steal of this race, and Ryan Blaney passes Kyle Larson 9 laps to go, and he comes off the final corner, and he wins here at Atlanta Motor Speedway in surprising fashion. First of all, I want to say one thing. Logano, I think, did affect the outcome of the race just a little bit with the dirty air, but I also do think Larson's tires are really, really falling off at the end of the race. So Logano's at fault a little bit, in my opinion, but I also do think that Kyle Larson's tires falling off really, really did not help. And Ryan Blaney, I think, earned the win at the end of the day, even though I feel really bad for Kyle Larson because I'm so good. I'm a huge Kyle Larson fan. I'm definitely really, really gutted for Larson because Larson had the car to beat today, man, by far, like 269 laps, and he was cruising to a victory. It looked like it, and unfortunately, at the end of the day, that really happened, which was really, really unfortunate to see. But I'm a huge fan of Ryan Blaney, so I'm really, really happy that Ryan Blaney won today, and I think he earned the win, in my opinion, even though I think Kyle Larson deserved the win more than Ryan Blaney. I think Ryan Blaney earned the win. He had the pass day in a day, and he had to earn it. So, congratulations to Ryan Blaney winning today's race. He is your winner here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. So now let's go through and talk about the race results, and then we're going to go out of here and give you my score of today's race. Let's go. So Ryan Blaney makes a late lap pass with 9 laps to go, and he wins here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. First win, and by the way, the 6th different winner in 6 races. So that's one thing we're going to have to watch is these guys that are on the outside of the playoffs. That's one thing we're going to have to watch, and also Ryan Blaney's been getting better as the season has gone on, and he finally scores that first win of the year. He had a really good car here in 2019. It looked like he was going to win it, but then he had issues late in the race. But really good win for Ryan Blaney. Really, really strong run for him. Kyle Larson, a dominant car, man. I still feel bad for Kyle Larson. He gets 2nd place finish. This team is going to be really, really dangerous this year. I think that Kyle Larson is already going to be one of the favorites to win this championship already up to this point. The field should be really, really scared right now. So I think Kyle Larson is going to be a threat for many, many weeks. Alex Bowman finally puts together a fantastic race, gets a 3rd place finish. Great run for Alex Bowman. He ran top 5 majority of the day, gets a 3rd place finish. Ran 2nd alive race 2, gets 3rd place finish. Great run for Alex Bowman. 4th place for Denny Hamlin. Really, really strong run for Denny Hamlin today, despite having some damage. Gets a 4th place finish. Not bad. And Kyle Busch bounces back to top 5. Kyle put together an okay race. He had issues in his race, but he gets a top 5 finish. That's not bad overall. Kyle Busch finished his 5th. Austin Dillon, top 10 all day long, gets 6th. Great run for Austin Dillon. Chris Buescher, again, he didn't have as much speed as he had at Homestead last week, but he ran top 10 a majority of the day and gets 7th place finish. Great run for the team. I think Roush has some speed again, and this week it was announced that LeBron James is technically now a co-owner of the team, so congratulations to Chris Buescher on top 10. I think it's his 2nd, well, I think it's his 1st top 10 finish of the year, but gets 7th place finish. That's not bad for Chris Buescher. William Byron finished today with a solid top 10 run. Ran in around the 6th to 8th place range most of the day. Didn't have the car really up there that can contend for the win, but an 8th place run is not bad. 300 cars finishing in the top 10. Martin Truex Jr. I thought was going to be more of a threat today. Gets a top 10 run. He won last week. He looks pretty good right now, but a 9th place finish is not as good as I thought he was going to run today. I thought he was going to be one of the threats in this race, but he gets a 9th place finish. Not bad for Martin Truex Jr. And finishing 10th today is Kevin Harvick. Now, Kevin Harvick had to bounce back. I think he had a loose wheel or a flat tire or something. He had to bounce back to get back in the top 10. Really, really unfortunate. He was my pick coming into this race, but he really was not a contender all day. I am a little bit concerned about Kevin Harvick right now because he said that this is the worst car he's ever had. And Kevin Harvick, man, he's just not been as good as he was last year. I am a little worried, and I don't have Kevin Harvick being a championship contender right now up to this point. Matt DiBenedetto gets a 11th place run. Again, Matt DiBenedetto, he needs to have runs like this every single week. He needs to get as many points as possible. He gets 11th place finish up. That's not a bad run overall for Matt DiBenedetto. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. with another top 15 run. Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s team is an underdog team right now for the playoffs. They look really, really, really sturdy right now. That team is an underdog for the playoffs right now. Ryan Newman finished 13th. Not a bad run for Ryan Newman. Ross Chastain bounced back to a 14th place finish. Not a bad run. Not a great run, but not a bad run for Ross Chastain. Finishing 15th today is Joey Logano. I'm not really 100% happy with Joey Logano, what he did, but hey, it's team orders. What are you going to do? Logano finishes 15th. Not a great run for Joey Logano. Thought he was going to be more a threat today than he is. Bubba Wallace finishes in 16th. Not a bad run, not a fantastic run, but just an okay run for this team. Hopefully they can build on from this and has to be like they had at Phoenix. Not a bad run today, though. I think they finished 16th last race, too, so this is still their best finish of the year. They got to start picking up pieces because they're an underdog team. They show top 10 speed quite a bit of this race. Hopefully they'll show more speed here later this year. Daniel Suarez finished 17th. That team had top 10 speed a lot of this race. They were the underdog team of this race, in my opinion. I think they ran like at one point up to 6th place. I think they had a late strategy call at the end of the race where they decided to stay out, which is really, really unfortunate. But 17th place, that's not bad. Hopefully they can continue to build on momentum from this 17th place finish. Not bad for them. Cole Custer finished 18th. Michael McDowell in their top 20 runs. Still the best start he's had of a season. Michael McDowell finished his 19th. And Eric Almirola finished his 20th. I don't have, like I said, I don't have Eric Almirola making the playoffs or not. I think he struggled a lot of the season so far. 21st place for Christopher Bell, 22nd for Austin Cindric. Austin Cindric made his second start in the NASCAR Cup Series of his NASCAR Cup Series career. Finished 22nd, not bad overall. Chase Briscoe finished 23rd, Eric Jones 24th. I expected Briscoe to really struggle today. He really has not been really that great this year. He's been disappointing this year. Eric Jones finishes 24th. I expected more from Eric Jones today, man. I thought Jones was going to run top 10 because he really ran really good at Vegas. Finished 24th, not a great day for him. Ryan Preece finishes 25th. Tyler Reddick finishes 26th. 27th for Anthony Alfredo. 28th for Brad Keselowski, went multiple laps down. Corey LaJoie finishes 29th. 30th place for Justin Haley. 31st for Cody Ware. 32nd place for James Davison. 33rd, Quinn Houff. 34th, BJ McLeod. 35th place goes to Joey Gase. 36th for Timmy Hill. 37th place for Josh Blicky. Chase Elliott finishes 30th after his engine fails. And Kurt Busch, after falling out of the race because of damage, he finishes last place in 39th. So now let's go ahead and talk about this race and give you my score of today's race. I like the long runs of this race. I like that tire fall off was a big key thing, and I like the strategy portion of the race. But I thought the racing overall was I didn't think the race was really that good in my honest opinion. I thought the race was worse than Phoenix in my honest opinion. I didn't think it was the worst race I've seen this year. I still think the Daytona 500 is the worst race of the year up to this point. But I think that the question comes in, I think it overall is time to repave Atlanta Motor Speedway. That track should have been repaved a couple years ago. We bet for them not to repave it a few years ago, and I do think at this point, they're going to need to repave it, because I think that is one of the reasons why the racing hasn't been as good. I thought the Cup race wasn't, like, terrible, but I thought it was I'm going to give today's race at Atlanta Motor Speedway a 6 out of 10. I expected more of this race, to be honest with you, but I think that the track is overall in a need of repave, and I think that it is overall time to get this track repaved. And they're not going to have it done for July, but I think that there's a good chance by the time we get the next-gen car rolling out, I think there's a really good chance overall that they are going to repave Atlanta Motor Speedway. So, anyway, that is going to be it for today's NASCAR race review from Atlanta Motor Speedway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on so you get notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Links below for that, and comment below your thoughts on today's race. What are your thoughts about today's race? Let me know in the comments below with your score, and congratulate Ryan Blaney on winning today's race at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure you like so YouTube can recommend more of these great videos out to you guys. If you do that, I would greatly and truly appreciate it. Anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys next time for some more great and awesome NASCAR content. Take care, everybody.